Welcome to InfoGamer, my name's Mark, and in this video we're going to create a portal. This portal is going to be able to teleport our game objects and characters to different positions in our game. In a previous video we worked on a death zone and how to create that, and we're going to use some of the code from that death zone to create our portal. So if you haven't created the death zone script yet, you might want to head over to the other video to first learn how to create a death zone. If you know how to add scripts and you know how the death zone code works, you can also create the script, add this code into it. We're going to change it a bit to make it into a portal. So let's get started. Let's right click on the hierarchy and create a 3D object sphere. Let's zero this out and drag it up to 10 on the Y axis. Let's add a component, which will be a rigid body, so type rigid, and then click rigid body. So let's go and create our portal. Let's right click in the hierarchy and create empty. Let's rename this to portal. And then let's add a sprite renderer. This is going to be what holds our image for the portal. So if you're going to be inserting this into your game, you're going to want to create a portal image to add to this sprite. But for this educational purpose, I'm just pulling an image off of Google and going to use it for my portal. I right click and drag it into my project window, click on it, change this texture type to sprite, and then hit apply. Then we can click on portal in the hierarchy, drag it into the sprite square in the inspector, and let's zero out the position. I forgot to zero this empty game object out first, but we can do that right now. And then let's switch the rotation to 90 in the X. This will make it flat and the sphere will be able to go through it. So it's looking pretty good right now. Let's now add a box collider, because that's what's going to register the contact of the sphere to the portal. Made the box collider around the entire image of the portal. You can make the size smaller on the box collider right here if you want it to just be a portion of the portal that you can go through and be teleported. But for this video, we're just going to keep it this full image. Now let's add an animation to this portal so it'll actually spin and look pretty cool. So go to Window and click Animation, and it should open up this window right here. While you have the portal selected in the hierarchy, hit Create, and then name it Spin. We're naming the animation right now and saving it to our project file, whichever one we have open. Right now I have scripts open, but we can drag these to our animation folder later. So let's add a property, click Transform, because we want to change the rotation. We're going to add that into the animation. Then let's drag this bar all the way to the end, and let's open this back up and type 360 in the Y direction. Because the Y is up and down, we want it to rotate around the Y axis. A full spin, and that would be 360. And then we should be good to go. Alright, can you guys guess what I did wrong here? Why isn't the portal, why isn't the box collider registering any? Well, if you can guess, we go back to the portal and we want to make sure it says is trigger on the box collider. We can also drag our death zone script over to the box collider and drag that over into the inspector and just make sure it appears like this. Then we'll hit play and it should delete the game object like it did in the previous video. We can also change the speed really easily by hitting 15 samples instead of 30. Nice. So when we hit play, the animation is working. And let's go into scripting our portal now. Let's open up the Death Zone script. And we're going to need, instead of the game object to be deleted, we want it to change position. So we're going to need a position for it to change to. So let's create that variable right now. And we'll want it to be public, so we can just drag in the game object spawn point to this. So let's say public transform spawn point. Cool. And then we're not going to need this line because we don't want it to destroy the game object. We want it to change the position. Can any of you guess what line of code we're going to need to do that? First off, we're going to type other and then period dot game object dot transform dot position. And this is how you access the position of a game object. And since we're registering the other collider, we can pull the game object from that other collider and then start getting the transform and then the position. So let's type that all up. So we want the position of the game object to be set equal to another position. Can you guys guess what the second line is going to say? It's going to say spawn point dot position. Because essentially we want to set it equal to the spawn point position that we're going to set up. And that's all the code you need to create your very first portal. Let's hit Control S and save it off, and then go back to Unity. Okay, we're going to need to create a spawn point for the game object to appear on. So let's create an empty. Right click, create empty. Let's rename this spawn point so we know that's what is happening. Let's zero it out. And let's type 15 in the y-axis so it's above the sphere. Alright, we should be good to go after we drag the spawn point in to our newly created spot to hold the spawn point. Let's do that by dragging spawn point in there. Alright, let's see what we got so far. Sweet! It's reappearing and it's actually speeding up, and it's going to speed up so fast it's going to go through and not register that it actually hit this box collider. How you can fix that is just make the box collider a bit thicker, but it's just going to keep speeding up over time. But this is seriously what it takes to create your own portal. So a little bit of after aesthetics to make it look like there's another portal. You would just add another sprite renderer, and then you would drag the portal image in there, change the rotation to 90 like we did, and you can then add another spin to the above portal. So, and you can also make the portals a bit bigger if you want to. So just do whatever you want and set it to what you think looks good. So here's an important reason to stay towards the end of the video. Sometimes I forget about some tips or code, and then I put them in towards the end of the video, and here's a good example of that. Some of you guys might have already noticed that when I hit play, the game object disappears as soon as it touches the portal. It doesn't even really look like it's going into the portal. So let's fix that really easily and click on our portal, go to the box collider. So since our box collider was added at a different time, the position is actually in a bit of a local scale. It's not in a world, it's a local position, it's not in a world position. So you would anticipate that you would just have to add like 2 to the Y and it would go up, but it's actually going on its local position instead of this world position. So we're going to have to figure out which way is down, and it turns out that it's Z. So if we want to type 1.5 in there, and I can show you guys a little bit what of the effect that we're going for. So when we hit play, it actually looks like it disappears into the portal. Like there's still a little bit left before, like it goes in and then it disappears instead of touching it and getting blasted immediately. So Minecraft does this for the side portals. They actually put a really thick wall on their side portal so you can't see what's happening on the side. And so that might, if you have a portal that has a side view, you might want to create a bigger wall to make it so it hides this part of the image as it travels through the portal. So that's an easy tip and fix to make it look like your game object or player is traveling through the portal. I hope you enjoyed learning how to create a portal. Please subscribe, please like. You guys are the best, and we'll talk to you in another video.